And I guess we're live.
We're here.
All right, hi, world, Facebook world. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Facebook open to make sure it's working.
I can get it.
It's terrible. It's like one of those things. It's very much a faith thing. If it's actually working.
I have no idea. I don't
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, cool. Can you see us?
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! There we are. We got 2 people watching us. Hey, people. No, it's advised not to. All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody who is here watching us. We are doing a continuation of what we did a few weeks ago because this place is haunted AF, and I think 4 ghosts last time.
I
That's
remember there was almost like a revolving door at one point with the youngsters and this. Yes, there was quite a few that were able to come through.
They were fighting over the Ouija board. Like there was a point where we were like it would, like the planchette would get stuck.
And then it would just not, like nothing would happen. It would like go.
Wasn't there like a redheaded woman at one point or something too? I watched that one. Hi.
Hello. And we are all here.
Yay.
Hey, Diana. So Diana is going to be moderating your comments as they come in. And so what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to talk to the entities that are in this space. We made it extra spooky this time. You can tell there's a lot of flickering lights around.
Yeah, oh my.
And I have to say that every bit of decor you see here is stuff that we already owned. Here. Yeah. So I would like to introduce everybody. If you listen to the Haunted Housewives or to Homespun Hates, you know I'm Becky and my co-host Diana is the one with the purple hair.
Hi.
And then we have my good friend Jennifer here, who is part of the reason we're here to begin with, because she actually had some interesting interactions with the ghost here. And then my lovely friend Christy here, who is also very spooky. And so, and they just happen to live right around the corner from me, and they are good sports for joining us today because I did not want to be in here alone.
The spookier, the better. We'll take it.
And then also Tara and Carly, would you guys like to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are?
Carly.
And I'm Tara.
The Haunted Housewives podcast, and we read tarot. And Tara practices some mediumship. So after we watched the Ouija board seance, we were like, "Hey, let's do this again."
Let's do some follow-ups because all the things we're coming through. I have so many questions.
Yes. So we're going to definitely need your guidance because I have 4 decks here and we don't know what to do with them. I mean, I kind of know some of them, but one of them is an oracle deck.
Any deck will work. It's just a matter of getting the information and figuring out how it all fits together.
Okay.
You can use any kind of deck you want.
Okay. Awesome.
The Wisdom of the Oracle is my favorite, which is the red one you have in front of you.
Oh,
I love that one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good one. And you know, tarot is really fun to read intuitively. So even though the information may not be correct for that card because you're trying to think of the definitions, just go with what's coming through because there's a message in there for you. So it might be the picture, it might be the representation. So you can even use them like an oracle sometimes. So don't worry if you don't get the correct definitions of the tarot right all the time. It's okay.
Okay, excellent. That's good to know.
Just have fun with it. It's okay.
Cool.
We're not right all the time either. So
No.
Yeah,
Not at
it's
all.
a very loose. It's a loose art.
Yeah.
So should we, Jennifer, would you like to tell everyone who missed last one we did what it is that you experienced? What sort of inspired all of this?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a really interesting experience for me. I have had other types of interactions and experiences with different kinds of entities or feelings. And this was something that I was here in this office, and I was working for a few days in the space, and I was really busy. It's one of the reasons why I came here. I really needed to get some work done and focus. So I had felt some things around me, but I really was just kind of blocking it off because I was working. I had to get this project done. And it wasn't until later one evening when I went home, and I just had that feeling, the sensation and feeling that I had earlier in the day when I was getting ready for bed. I was looking in the mirror and I had this same feeling, and I could tell that whatever was at the office that day was there with me. And so I had just, who are you? What is your name? Can I help you? And there was only one thing that was said, and it was, please talk to me, or talk to me.
Oh, wow.
And then it was the rest of the interaction and experience was as if this she couldn't talk. She was like she was muted somehow. So it was the only thing verbally or audibly that I had gotten. And then later I had a dream, and a waking dream about childbirth and miscarriages, and it's just some really experiences here in this area. It was really intense and unreal, and I experienced and saw things that I didn't know anything about, and went later and looked up and found historic pictures of a birthing chair that was being used, and some other items that I just wouldn't have known about, and found pictures of them, historical pictures of these things. So it was really intense, telling of some of the really bad experiences that have happened to people here. And that I woke up, the next day, and I'm texting Becky like, wow, I've got to tell you all about this.
Tell me all the things.
Yeah, and that's who we wanted to talk to last time when we came, because I also, was talking to this woman and felt like she wanted to go, and I wanted to help her leave, and that's when Becky came back with the cards, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I came back. Well, when she told me about that, I said, oh, that's really interesting, because a few days before, I had come in here after dropping my kids off at school at like, crack of dawn. So I just passed out on my desk because I'm a really good and it's okay, I work for myself. And while I was passed out, it's a good thing it's a chiropractor down the hall too, because I'm like sleeping like this, right, in my chair. And I had a dream about the same person. But I was her in the dream, and the other people that were in Jennifer's dream were around her, and they were all wearing black morning taffeta. And I remember I couldn't speak, but I was really sad.
Aww.
And then like one of them like slapped me or something, and the slap woke me up. So then I pulled some cards here, and I said, okay, I'm gonna pull 3 cards, and I just want you to tell me, like, I'm gonna pull. Okay, I want the first card. I want you to tell me what you do, because at that point I still thought it was a man in here, and there is a man in here, but I said not who I talked to. So I thought I was a man. I said, first card, I want you to tell me what you do. Second card, I want you to tell me how old you are. And third card, tell me why you're still here. So the first card I pulled was death. What do you do? Take that what you want. The second card I pulled was, I don't remember what card it was, but it was I think it was the Four of Wands or something, but it was in the deck I had, it was a young mother.
Okay.
And then the third card I pulled reversed was, why are you still here? Revenge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So of course, a normal person would be like, breaking my lease and moving out. But I was like, let's have a seance.
Her. Well, you're with equally normal people who watch the seance and say, let's find out more.
Right. Yes.
Definitely talk to her tonight. Do you guys want to focus on her? We can have Tara do a little intro, and then let's see if we can learn more about her.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
All right. So Tara, how would you like us to begin?
What I want us to do is I want to uncross all arms and legs and kind of wiggle it out just a little bit. Move any stagnant energy. So we're going to go ahead and take some nice deep breaths in and exhale out. Take another deep inhale in and start anchoring yourself in, grounding yourself in, and exhale out. And deep breath one more time in. And exhale out. I ask that we come together under a shield of protection, filled with light, love. I ask that anything that comes forward to speak with us come with good intentions only. We want to hear your story. We want to tell your tale. But outside of the circle is where you stay. Feel free to share, leave impressions, tell us what you'd like us to know. But again, you stay outside the circle. At this time, our light bubble, if you'd like to call it that, is expanding out further and further and further into the room, covering us and those that are watching. And we can begin.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I have a deck that's specifically for past lives, but it gives a lot of causes of death. So let's just ask why she's silent and start from, unless there's a specific question that you want me to start with. Is there something?
I think that's a great question because it was such a strong feeling and such a pointed, show. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes sense. Let's light our candle here so we can blow it out when we're done.
Good idea. All right. Well, the first card that came up is migration. And the next three cards are actually really interesting because they're very close to what you got, Becky. We have the judgment card. Do you guys want me to hold them up? Can you see them? Yeah. Okay. So here's the migration card. Very much cross the seas journey, but in our case also it could be that she's trying to move on. The judgment card, there we go, that was weird. And then we have premature death and slavery, which is also the devil card, which says to me that she is stuck, which is pretty much what you guys were already saying. So she's already kind of confirming, hey, this is what happened to me. So
I do have a question because here's what's coming in to my mind, just real quick, if maybe you can pull for me, is I feel like her death was also accidental, but almost like, how am I saying this? Almost like it was, okay, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing like a pregnancy kind of a situation, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then what I'm seeing is maybe things going wrong and not having the right people. And so somebody taking the reins and kind of fucking it up.
It was her
And
husband.
so it was kind of like, that's kind of what I'm seeing is so.
Spouse
Mhm.
and rational man. Her husband tried to
Yeah.
take over.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of like irons in the fire at that time because it was just very chaotic and things were going bad very fast. But I think it was also preventable if they had made the proper arrangements, is kind of what I feel like.
Brought in a midwife.
Mm-hmm. But there was no midwife, or maybe the midwife was there and was kind of struggling. I feel like this whole thing was like a struggle. It was like a huge mishap. And so maybe it was like a breech birth kind of a thing, is kind of how I'm feeling. Like things just weren't turning, they weren't moving right. There was, baby death, and then maybe even mom death as she, everything just kind of went wrong and she bled out maybe. So I feel like there was just a lot of chaos there. But that's kind of what I'm seeing when you're telling me that, is that that's what's happening. That's what I'm seeing in my mind. So I'm not sure if that's relatable.
No, definitely. I mean,
Okay.
That has been like,
yeah, I've got that serious chills. Yeah, so the baby was stillborn.
the baby was stillborn. I mean,
Oh,
how
okay.
graphic should I be?
She already said fuck, so
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
I
fine.
just didn't know.
We say fuck a lot.
It was seriously disturbing. What I saw was that there was someone who was kind of like a midwife, but she was like really mean. And she was like, I was helping with the birth, 2 of them, when they happened. And she was like being mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping with the birth. And she was yelling at me. She was yelling at the mother, and she wouldn't let her make any noise.
Is this a nun? Like a
No,
religious figure kind of a
so.
person? Because that's like the attitude is kind of like,
but I don't
like sharp.
She wouldn't let her make any noise, like she was trying to keep your pain to yourself.
Yeah,
Why she's not speaking now.
but it was really weird that the first birth was stillborn, and the second one, it was really weird. I was I was right there, and the baby came out, and the mother sat up, and I had turned around because this lady was yelling at me, and I turned back around. This is really gross. She would it was like halfway out, and she was like stroking its head, but it was dead.
Mm.
It would still work.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was, that was like the second time. And I don't know, after that, it was very chaotic. It was like this weird chair she was in. I looked it up later, and I guess it was some kind of birthing chair from Civil War time.
Okay.
And just all the things you said, it's amazing. This area has a lot of Civil War history. And the very first card you pulled was migration. Forced out of here, women and children forced out of here, put on trains,
never to be seen again.
A
lot of death. It was like a march of death that was for the mill workers.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been like during that chaos.
It could have been. Maybe that's why she didn't make any noise.
It does feel very panicky, but like herself, the woman who is kind of with me here, what I feel like she's making me feel is that there was maybe like a hypertension kind of a thing going on too. And so because I feel like really not in my own mind. Well, I mean, we're having twin labor here. Who's in their right mind when you're in labor, first of all? But I think there was some other medical issues going on. And then at that time period, I mean, that wasn't something that was really known about. and how to treat that. But I just feel like there's so much happening, and that can play a role too in baby health, and especially if there's all kinds of things going on. Cord issues. Was there cord wrapping? Did you notice?
See that?
Okay.
I didn't see that.
I'm just seeing more like, breech birth for one that was struggling. So, there's a lot of things going on, but definitely something preventable for the most part.
I feel like she, like this woman kind of, like others were blaming her somehow.
She was a single mother, also frowned upon. Yeah, so I think the issue here, I feel the issue here is the way that they were treating her was very shameful, very shame-ridden.
Pulled the judgment card.
I think too, maybe one of them is the father, not the father of the children, but the father of the girl, perhaps.
She was right.
I just see her as very young. Well, I mean, maybe not young so much. I would say maybe 18 to maybe 25, maybe.
Yeah, that's when I had that dream that I was heard. I definitely felt young, judged. The mean lady was in my dream too, and it was.
You did pull the judgment card too, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely like this. It felt like this, like you can do no right type of situation.
Right.
Kind if you don't, and that mean lady, when she slapped me, that's when I woke up. Like I still felt it once I woke up. Like it was. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Katie's here. She'd like to know if they were trying to keep her quiet because of the man. She keeps getting the vibe that the people around the man were tense and didn't want people to talk too much. Katie, are you talking about the man that we made contact with, or the man that was inhibiting the Ouija board session that we did a couple weeks ago? I don't know if you want to ask about that. Are you going to pull more cards? I'm not sure how this is going to go. Sorry.
Pull them. I just was like brain dumping,
okay.
so I was just it was coming in. I wanted to share it before I forgot.
Yes, that was the man that Katie was referring to.
I'd like to try.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it.
So I don't know. I just feel like really connected to her right now. Kind of scary. I'm totally like chilling. Like I got major goosebumps all over me. Which is good because it's getting really warm in here with all the candles. So. Thank you guys for chilling me out. Did not mean that disrespectfully at all. Okay, so one more time.
Katie's also curious if he was the father.
If the man who's keeping everyone.
Okay.
So what should we ask then?
I got that the man was the father of the girl that was pregnant. So he was kind of the authority, like, kind of, I don't know how to explain him correctly, kind of an ass.
But with the baby daddy keeping her quiet too, like is the baby daddy?
I don't see baby daddy.
Maybe it was a soldier.
I don't see baby daddy anywhere.
No baby daddy.
No baby daddy.
Well, what would you guys like?
Pure speculation.
Yeah. What would be a good question for me?
I would like to know if she would like to move on and be done.
All right.
To know if she feels better by talking to us. What are good questions? I don't know tarot cards, so I don't know
Those are all good questions. You can ask if you want to know if she wants to move on. Just focus on that and then just see what cards come out. If you say them out loud, Tara and I can help interpret.
Well, what do you think? What would be?
No, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So let's ask, yes, do you want to move on? And I guess a follow-up question would be, is there something preventing her, or what is preventing her?
Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, these cards are really hard to shuffle today for some reason.
I'm shuffling mine
They
too.
usually don't. That's like I don't know, they're
Because you're live.
feeling, yeah. Okay, so should I draw 3 cards then?
Draw as many as you feel like you need to. Sometimes I do 4 or 5. Just 3 is good, but
And I just let them fly out of the deck.
just stop when you feel like you need to. There are no rules here.
Yeah, there's no rules. Just do it.
There's no right or
Okay.
wrong.
I'm going to read you. I pulled 5 cards.
Okay.
So the first one is the 9 of Swords. I don't know if you can-
Anxiety. I have that one here too, actually. So twinsies.
Yes. Ace of Swords reversed.
Okay. She's having a lot of
Judge.
fear in regards to moving on. Judgment again.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel this is something that's come up a lot in some of these stories that I've heard, is that sometimes spirits are, especially if they're raised in a very religious time, are afraid to cross over because we're conditioned to think that they are going to hell. And if this woman was a single woman being shamed, she might be afraid to move on because she doesn't know where she is going. But keep going.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to the baby daddy.
The next card is 2 of Cups reversed.
Okay.
And then we have 7 of Wands reversed. So to me, that means that she's not able to get through. Like she's still stuck in some sort of.
She seems like she's stuck in that anxious mindset and can't move on from it. Actually, I got a few of the same cards. And that is overriding.
Really? Oh my
The
god.
overriding theme here is anxiety, a lot of fear in regards to what's going to happen to her, where she's going to find, or maybe she had so much shame and judgment when she was in the process of dying that she couldn't let go of that. What an awful way.
Yeah.
Sounds like, I mean, so many times when I've read about historic stories about women and all the things they've gone through, I've felt that very much. Like they must have just been miserable all the time. You know, just like really felt bad about yourself and everything you want to do constantly.
Yeah. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whitney says that definitely sounds like a broken heart. And then Rachel asked, she wants you to ask, what happened to the baby daddy?
That was what you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull cards?
Yeah, I can try.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
These are hard for me to shuffle because my hands
You can
are
use a
small.
different deck if you want.
I think I'm going to use mine.
Okay, cool.
Just their stick. Haven't used it enough, I guess.
What
Well,
happened?
it's like extra hard, like she said, you're alive. So.
Yeah.
Rachel, we're currently discussing a ghost that
Whatever you
was
feel.
contacted in Becky's office a couple weeks ago that we had a Ouija board discussion with. This is a reprisal. Just filling in. Sorry.
Okay.
Diana, your hair looks so pretty. Did you redo it? It's so
No,
cute.
it's just dark here.
I know, I love it. It's all pinky purple. So cute.
Thanks.
All right, so she's ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
We're asking what happened to the baby daddy.
What happened?
Where what age?
The father of the child.
Yeah.
In case she doesn't know baby daddy.
Oh, yes, I guess you might not know that. The father of the child, okay. Okay.
Can I answer this question from one of the Facebook users really quick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before you do that, the question is, what are the chances of cross-contamination with the online reading? Like, what if spirits connected to people watching influence the outcomes? Just a thought. For me, spirit channels directly to me. And so it's kind of like we're holding hands with information. So nothing that you're saying or thinking or they're pulling in cards is affecting the information that's coming in, because we're kind of like sitting in the same energy together. So for me, that I don't get cross-contamination that way, but I don't know about anybody else.
I don't feel like that's confusing or crossed or. Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
All right, tell us what cards you have. I have a few here too, so I'm curious.
Okay, so I pulled the Ace of Pentacles reversed.
Okay.
The King of Cups.
Okay.
The Knight of Swords. And then the Queen of Wands.
You said the Nine of Swords?
The Knight.
The Knight of Swords.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he sounds like a pretty all right guy.
I know. I'm thinking this doesn't sound bad. So
I feel like they're describing what he was like. I got the Tower card and the Murder card. So
Murder.
War? Did
Maybe
he get
so.
Did he get killed in? He was in war.
I don't know if he was killed in war, but he definitely was dead before the baby came. So, and I feel like you got a really accurate description of what his personality would have been like. Because honestly, that sounds lovely. I would like to hang out with him.
Can you explain what those cards mean, Carly, to people who wouldn't know? Ace of Pentacles reversed, and then the King of Cups, Knight of Swords, and
Queen of Wands.
Queen of Wands.
Ace of Pentacles reversed for a person. All I'm thinking of is the King of Cups. Hang on. I'm going to look. My brain doesn't function on lives.
I feel like he was just very simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what that.
The King of Cups is just
Doesn't an Ace of, oh, sorry.
no, you're fine.
Mhm.
I know in my deck, an Ace of Pentacles reversed means that there's like a loss of fortune or a loss of money.
Lost opportunity. So it could have been they could have been really happy together. Remind me what the next one was. I'm stuck on the Ace of or King of Cups. Sorry. That's
Knight of Swords.
the Knight of Swords. I love all of the knights. The Knight of Swords is very action driven, motivated. I mean, in this case, he could literally be maybe not a knight in shining armor in swords, but he could be a soldier going off to battle if he was a soldier. But he would have been, maybe kind of simple, but also driven.
Yeah. Like, we have a baby coming. We have to take care of our family. So I'm going to go fight the war.
Let's get this done. I'm going to make some money.
Maybe a noble man.
And Whitney and Rachel are speculating that perhaps he was having some lack of financial security, and that he might have been a decent guy, but he just wasn't in the picture at all.
Yeah.
Rachel even feels like he might have been killed before any of this was revealed to him, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably was dead and gone. And they might not have even been married. It might have been an accidental
That's
baby.
kind of what she was making me feel like. This was something that happened, although that they had made that promise kind of to each other that this was gonna, they were gonna get married and they were gonna have their family, all these things, and then this separation happened, and now her family is like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant! What are you gonna do? You've shamed our whole family." Because I feel like there wasn't really a class separation per se. One was a little more well off than the other, but they weren't like stately. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have true fortune, but it was still an honor kind of a thing. So that's kind of yeah. So I feel like that was kind of a thing happening.
Can you tell? Because again, this was a very contentious area. Can you tell if it was like if they were on opposite sides during the war?
Like a Union and Confederate soldier?
Yes.
We can ask. I don't. Let's just see. I'll just pull two cards here.
Okay.
Well, we got brokenhearted, which is the Three of Swords, the saddest sword. Saddest sword. Yes, but also the saddest card is what I was trying to say. And Karmic Connection, which is the Six of Cups. And in this deck, sorry, I don't know why I can't just keep it in this on the screen. in this deck specifically, it's two people who they have something to learn from each other, and unfortunately, it just didn't really work out for them. But they were, I wouldn't say like soulmates necessarily, but sometimes people come into your life so that you can learn something, and then they leave your life. They're not always meant to be there for forever. So kind of just seems like really shit luck, if you ask me. all around bad luck.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull next?
I would love to, can I?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, do you have a preference on a deck?
This one. I want this one.
Okay, sure. So just shuffle. Well, first of all, let's, do you have a question specifically you'd like to ask?
Can I ask, can we help her?
Yeah.
Luke, can we help her?
I think that's a great question. Okay, so yeah, just,
Okay.
you can just pull
You can
cards,
tell
you
me
can
if
shuffle.
that's not like,
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. I'm like,
no, no, this is all
make
about
this
going with your gut.
happen.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is that okay? Like
Yeah.
that? Like shuffle them like
You
a,
just, again, you
like
just,
I'm gonna deal out
Mhm.
Jen Rummy here.
exactly.
All right.
Just, you'll know when you've shuffled enough.
Is that a grandma game, Jen Rummy?
Yeah, I'll play it with my son.
Oh.
Me too, Tara. Me too.
I'm sweating balls, man.
Me too. I am so hot. I mean, I know it's weird. I'm like,
No, that's what happens
Are
when
you?
spirit comes through.
Really?
It gets hot. Yeah, because you're raising your energy level to meet them.
I'm like,
And so you will.
I'm
You
like,
will.
I keep doing this to my hair. Like I'm stick into my neck. It's weird.
And you're cold.
Well, I keep getting goosebumps, like chills.
Oh,
So,
okay. What? Okay.
All good things.
Flip them over.
yeah, just
Okay.
as many as you feel. It's like,
They are all upside down. Is that okay?
Yeah.
yes,
That's
that's actually very meaningful.
Okay, I did 5 because that seems like a cool number.
Okay, so tell everyone, what's the first
I
one,
have
isn't?
no idea what
Okay.
these are.
So
Sorry.
we have the, oh, it's light. Not wearing my
It looks
bifocals.
like
That is,
army.
okay, that's a 5 of swords,
5 of swords.
Lots
And
of swords today.
Lots of swords today.
a 10 of discs reversed. It's discs instead of pentacles in this stuff.
Okay.
A 7 of cups reversed.
Okay.
A queen of wands reversed.
Oh, wow.
You had the queen of wands
Mhm.
right side up, right? Okay. And the 5 of cups right side up.
What was the other 5? Sorry, I thought you said 5 of cups before.
5 of swords.
5
The
of
5 of
swords.
swords and the 5 of cups. And both of those are right side up, but everything else is reversed.
She seems to me like she's talking about how intimidated and pressured she felt pretty much through that whole time. So I'm sorry, you asked if she needed help moving on?
Well,
Yeah.
we can help her if she would let us help
We
her.
can help her. I think she's just expressing to you again why she's afraid to move on, because anxiety has come up so many times. And
Yeah.
most cards that you're describing right now are all like the 10 of cups.
Mm-hmm.
Upright would be like bright, happy family, but reverse is like, breakdown in relationships in families. The 5 of swords that's kind of a tough card to get too. That whole lot just seems like she's feeling very unsure of herself and just intimidated and scared.
I very feel much that too. It's just like a wall, just like a block. Something.
So it's my understanding, so take this with a grain of salt. This is just what I've been shown. When we die, we all cross over. Now, we're not exactly stuck here, but we are on different, let's call them department store levels. That's how I like to describe it. So people who leave in very dramatic or tragic ways kind of are like on the lower level because they are not accepting of how things ended. And so it's very hard for them to kind of move forward. Now we all get the opportunity to do what I kind of I call like a walkabout. So we go in reverse and we look at our life and we, we see the lessons that we needed to learn and it becomes more clear. But sometimes we are who we are to the soul level. And we're like, no, fuck that. I didn't like that. I'm not advancing to the, the lingerie department. This is where I want to be for right now. So we just kind of hang out in that lower vibrational energy. And so that's why you get a lot of the people who haunt places, or they're kind of irritated and kind of aggressive and, anxiety ridden, like this poor girl. But, they have the choice to move on whenever they're ready. So it's just a matter of, I think, her sharing her story and her being heard and her kind of getting it into her ghost brain that it's okay for her to move forward because she doesn't have to stay here, but she's definitely not stuck. It is a choice of hers. So that's kind of, I think that's a lot of the misconception sometimes with people or souls who are stuck here. Like, why are they so stuck here? They're not. They just choose to be. They just like the lower shoe department. They just like there.
They start farting down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While she was talking, I pulled, and we have the soldier and loss cards. Oops. Again, I'm sorry. The soldier is the Knight of Swords, and the loss is the Five of Cups. Again, that keeps coming up. Soldier and loss. And the last card is, this is the Fool in this deck. Oops. One of these days, I'm going to get the hang of that.
I know, it's like reversed.
It's weird. She seems to be saying to me that she's still processing her losses. The Fool is a new beginning. It's a new start to a new journey. And I don't think that she's going to go anywhere until she finishes processing. However, but maybe talking it through, maybe having people listen and understand what happened to her would be a big step in that. I feel like that happens a lot too. Sometimes they just want someone to understand what they went through. They want someone to sympathize with them.
Yeah.
We sympathize.
Yes. I wonder if she knows that it's been 200 years.
Oh, they know.
200 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
This is really
That's a long time to carry grief. It is.
Would you like to try to maybe get some of these other things that have been poking at us since we've been around?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Give us a question or tell us one. It's easier if we have one thing to focus on. Or at least
let me go ahead and let her go, and then we can call in somebody, come forward, somebody else. I don't want to cross them.
There was one more question
for
her specifically. Rachel wants to know what's the best way that you can help her move on if you decide that's what is needed.
Yeah, I don't think that she'll move on until she's ready. I think that having us listen to her probably was a pretty big help to her. But she won't be able to move on fully until she herself is ready. There's not really any. You can listen to her and, I'm sorry for what happened to you, or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you can always engage in conversation with her too, and ask her how she is, or, just carry on conversation like you would with anybody that's sitting next to you, because they're always around. So as soon as you call them or think about them, they're there. And so, that might be too why you're having a lot of increased energy, is because you're aware of them and think about them, and you guys share stories, and they're like, oh, hey, they're talking about us. Come on here. They get really excited. And so, they want to be acknowledged. Even in death, we all want to be loved. So if that's of interest to you, then feel free just to be like, hey, how's it going today? How are you? Just wanted to say hi. They appreciate that and they hear you. And that might be another way to kind of help her transition too.
I certainly do that. I'm here every day.
Definitely.
And Becky, just a heads up, a lot of people are saying the video is going very blurry, and I see it as well.
Really?
The camera seems to be out of focus in that room.
Oh, that's weird.
It's been like that since we started. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I thought it was me.
Really?
Sorry.
Focused?
Just touch it.
Ah! It was fine when we said it. All right. Well, thanks for letting us know.
Sorry.
Boy.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
better.
Yep, perfect.
It did get a little worse as we were going on.
I just thought that it was a bad connection on my end. I didn't
Okay,
do
is
it
that better?
I thought.
for
Is
everyone.
that better?
Yep,
That's
Yes.
better. Yeah, it looks great.
much more clear.
That's really
Perfect.
weird.
Okay, well, Diana and I have experienced multiple technological difficulties only when we talk about ghosts.
Oh, I can tell you, I've watched your video feed a couple times from my house. I had the strangest thing happen one night. I've never had a Facebook feed loop itself. It started looping. I was like sitting there watching, like, what is going on?
Crazy.
It's some super strange things. And yeah, so yeah, let us know if we don't look good. Hey,
Is it still
let us
blurry
know. What?
No, it's good now.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Oh,
All I did was make a face at the camera.
we've been
Sorry.
talking all the time and
I
blur.
thought maybe I had a bad connection. I was like, oh, maybe it'll work itself out.
Come on.
All right. So we are. No, it's okay.
So tell us about another one. It's easier for me
Does
personally.
anybody have any other questions before I let this lady go? Any other questions? Okay.
All right.
All right. You're good.
Okay. So, who would we like to speak to next? I know you've been feeling a lot of stuff. There may be children here. Is that something that we want to attempt, or the man that we think might be keeping people here?
What do you think?
It's whatever y'all want to do. I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, oh man. I haven't got the children as much as you guys have because I think they just creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa. 'Cause I had one really just super intense like child ghost experience, and since then I've been like little nippers, I'm like I try to keep that at bay. I don't. It's just like a little emotionally. It's like a lot, to have children.
Do you want to try the man?
I would actually love to because I feel him all the time, like down this hallway and like poking, and he's strong. But I don't know if you want to do that because it's kind of like a strong feeling.
Well, I know. Okay.
Tell us about him. We can see. We just ask. We just prod a little bit, and if you don't like how it feels, we'll just tell him to shoo, be
I
gone.
think there may be two men.
Yeah.
So you talk about the one that you feel. You just said you feel kind of going down in the hallways out of the scene and
Yeah, almost like he's like checking in on stuff, like pacing, almost like just like making sure, like overseeing.
I feel like he has a cane.
Like a groundskeeper, like a housekeeper, like a
No, not a groundskeeper, like an overlord,
Like the master of
like
the
an overlord. Yeah, like an overlord.
Like a,
Rachel is concerned that he's going to be non-cooperative and not nice.
He's
This is true. I
outside
do
the
believe
bowl.
he interrupted our
He's
session last time.
Right. Maybe we avoid him.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like he's like trying to shut me down. Like I feel like, do you feel like right here, like right here? Yeah.
You can also tell them to back up.
Yeah.
they-
We're gonna not acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So there's
Let's
another.
move on.
There's another man that. No, this is not that I have seen, but I've been told. There's a man from the early 20th century who just kind of wanders through here at night.
Mhm.
He always gets a little surprised when he sees people in here at night.
What? My house. What?
The other thing that I'm curious about, I have been told that there is a woman from the middle of the 19th century who is kind of in what's now the parking lot area, and she knows me.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't see what's going on with her.
Can we have to ask?
Piqued my curiosity.
I don't know if she's the same. I don't think I've never interacted with her, so I don't know if she's the same.
No, I don't know this.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Okay. Parking
Rachel
lot.
wants to know if it's an ancestral relationship or she just knows of you.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll let Carly pull on this because I may be too close to start.
And I have a question too.
Okay. Are we still in focus?
Oh, yeah, are we looking good?
Yes,
ladies?
you guys look great.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
There
It
we
was like
go.
a 45-minute unfocused moment.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Getting deep into this class. It's fine.
I don't know how she knows you, but I mean, I guess trigger warning. The first card that came up is the card is sexual assault and victim is at the top. So that means that is usually implying she was maybe victimized by something. The next card is intellectual and scientist at the top. So she would have been a very logical, thought-based person. The next card is artist with collector. And then we also have wealth with acquisition. And all of those put together seem like she was very much the focus of somebody's desire. I don't know why. I can ask with a different deck how she would know you. Maybe you remind her of, maybe you feel familiar to her.
Do you guys hear the cannon going off?
Yes, what is that? Scared the hell out of me. What was that?
An actual cannon?
I think it's fireworks.
Fireworks?
Oh.
Why? Oh, maybe because it's Juneteenth?
Oh, yeah, it is Juneteenth.
We're right at downtown Roswell, in the
Okay.
historic district, so there may be a celebration or something.
All right.
Mhm.
Of course, my mind just went to cannons.
It was loud, whatever it was. I was like, what is that?
Doing some,
Yeah.
Juneteenth, let's fire off some Civil War cannons. I don't know. We're in Georgia.
So, okay, so getting back to, it's okay.
Okay, so if you are a believer in past lives, it's possible. I'm not saying that this is exactly likely. It's possible that you stood up for her because I asked again how she knew you specifically, and the cards are peacemaker with mediator at the top, and then the law with law enforcement at the top. The next card was concubine, which just driving it home. I don't know. It's uncomfortable. This is live. I feel like
Was your girlfriend? Like concubine?
concubine.
Or like my husband's mistress?
Lover, husband, concubine.
Well, the card has chained feet on it. The card is enslavement, so it doesn't feel like a happy concubine relationship. If you're asking
Well,
me,
if it were like closeted, that could be unhappy.
Yeah. Closet, and the last card
But
is
if we're talking about the middle 19, like, oh, maybe it was
Yeah,
like you couldn't say.
yeah. So that either it could be you in a past life, or you remind her of someone who did stick up for her. I'm not really sure. Tara, I'm uncomfortable. You tap in. This is heavy.
You want to try?
yeah.
Can
Well,
Yeah,
let
go
Tara
ahead.
talk and then I'll
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I want to hear what you have to say because I'm not sure what to ask you.
Hang on. Yeah, I think there's a common theme with a lot of just kind of with what's happening here is that you're very open to listening to what they have to say. And so it's like this, they're just showing me like you pulling up into the parking lot and already being ready to receive information. So it's just kind of like they see you. It's like you constantly have your open sign on. And so they're just like, hey, I'm here. Talk to me. And so it's not so much that she knows you. It's more like she feels comfortable with you, almost like she's the same age and the same kind of personality, kind of the same dynamic as her. And so she's like, that's my person. I can tell her shit. And so it's kind of like, oh good, she's here today. Let's talk. So again, it's kind of like that security. You're comfortable for them, but you're very bright. And so you have a lot of things that come to you unknowingly to you. You're just like, oh, what is happening? But that's kind of how she's making me feel, like you're just a really easy person. You're a really easy soul to talk to, and it just makes it really easy for her to know you.
I get that from people both living and dead. So
Yeah, it's like, you're out and you're standing in the line at the grocery store and somebody will just turn around and start telling you their whole life story.
yeah.
It's that kind of a thing. So it's like, yeah, so it's that. She recognizes that in you because that's how she was. And so it's kind of like, let's talk shop. Let's tell each other all the things. So it's kind of like...
Well, I'd
Rachel's
love
also
to know
getting
more
the
about
feeling
her.
Oh, sorry. Rachel's getting the feeling she was in a situation she couldn't get out of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I wonder if she was enslaved.
I think it felt that way to her.
Or assaulted? Wasn't that?
Well, yeah,
what
she
you
was
had-
definitely assaulted.
Oh, I know what it is.
What?
Well, she was gay and wasn't allowed to be. There you go. That's what it is.
Oh,
So
she had
she's kind of like, probably, but I think that's what it is. So she's like, the enslavement is more in her mind and just, well, not so much in her mind, but in her daily life too. She couldn't. This one's very sad. It's like she. It's like she had a very rough life and a very confusing life to begin with. And it feels like every relationship sexually that she had felt like rape to her, just because it was that same kind of connotation. So again, I feel like, I mean, there might not be a similarity in your life, but again, it's just like you have this way about you where she could just be like, oh my gosh, let me tell you all these things. Just let me just brain dump it all over you and just, feels good to get it out. So it's just kind of like that connection, I believe, is how she's making me feel.
Rachel's picking up that she was being blackmailed about it. Whitney says her gaydar was going off too.
Yeah.
Well, not in that many words, but
Yeah. It's not so much like a blackmail, but more like there's just so much shame. There's so much shame around that. Just so much like you can't be that way. Mm-mm.
And maybe somebody had found out about it and she was
like you're just gonna have to
that definitely could feel like blackmail.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to get to know her. Okay. So
it's funny. She's showing me like pen pals. Like, write me letters.
Aww.
Let's have a journal. Let's write letters to each other. Is that something you did? Is that something that you would do? Because she's like being very specific about that. Like that, those are the words that she's using. Let's be pen pals. Let's write to each other. So,
I mean, I could certainly do that. I don't know how to write. I guess I could ask her how she can write back to me. What were we going to say?
Maybe it's something you did when you were a kid. You know, a connection you had with someone when you were young. And you were pen pals, because that was, when you were young.
I feel like that's kind of an example. Like, we're not together, we're far away, but we can be pen pals. It's that kind of like cheeky humor kind of a thing. So it's, I don't know if you ever did that, but that's why she's bringing it up.
Yeah, I had a few friends that I would stay in touch with that way.
Yeah.
No.
All right, well, if I can write letters to her, but I would like to know how I can talk to her, because I don't want it to just be a one-way conversation, and clearly I haven't talked to her yet, so maybe she can give me a clue. Maybe there's a place we can meet.
I do feel like very heavy, like almost, as she was kind of talking and coming in, I was trying to figure out who this belonged to, but can we maybe ask if she committed suicide by hanging? Because that's how I feel. Like my neck hurts and I can't like breathe. So I'm just curious if maybe that is how she died. She took her own life.
Shit.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
that got heavy really fast. But I think that's kind of like.
That's not what you said. It is, but I'll tell you in a minute. All right. So did you hang yourself?
Or you can ask about how you want to talk to her, and Carly can pull while you're doing that.
You tell me
No,
what
I need to know this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why in a minute. And was it in that corner?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stop at 3. I got the Hermit reversed, which I guess does speak to the isolation she felt.
Yeah, I'm okay.
The 3 of Wands reversed, and the Knight of Swords. I feel like she's not answering my question.
She might be beating around the bush a little bit. The Hermit reverse could be how deep she felt that isolation. I'm sorry. What was the next card?
3 of Wands reversed. So that would be I guess like a stifling of creativity, maybe.
Yeah.
We were talking about art. She was talking about art. Like that was like a caricature, that was pressing.
Yeah.
The artist.
Yeah. The artistic card came up. I think that would just go with she felt
this lack of self-expression.
Yeah.
She felt really alone and couldn't be who she wanted to be. And the Knight of Swords is a kind of a action-driven kind of card. Go for it. So, she could be kind of saying, yeah, I did because this sucked. I mean,
it's not really. I've been having a lot of neck and shoulder pain for the last year. Can't identify why. See a massage therapist, chiropractor, taking medicine, and just can't seem to get rid of it. But I asked because I'm not the only person that noticed this in this unit. When we first came to look at it, that wall over there just had bad energy. I mean, it was almost deafening. And the woman that I sort of drug in here before we got started and introduced you to, she also looked at this unit. She felt the same thing. So I had this feeling like if I painted it, it would be better. And I got permission. Apparently, they didn't care that this is a historical building. it's an exposed wall. So the plaster or beadwork or whatever that was there has been pulled off, and it's just the slats and the up and down support beams that are there, and so it was just exposed wood. And I primed it and I painted it, but while I was painting it, I found hairs way up.
You told us about those hairs at the beginning.
Oh God, I didn't even think
They
about
were
that.
old. They were
I
like,
did, but I wasn't going to say it. I didn't want to be the weirdo that's like, that's a dead person's hair. Just
Yeah.
what?
Oh, is somebody trying to say something under the door?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, let's see. Do you have a question?
That's the girl in my office.
It's a girl in her office.
Oh, do you mind? Would it be okay if we brought another person in?
Of course, more the merrier.
Come in. Come in. Come in.
It's for, and I'm like, oh, my lights have flickered 5 times.
Yeah.
Come
in.
towards that.
Yeah.
Just get this green chair. over
Okay, we
there.
have we have another person. Are you okay?
Chair. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so
Hi. Your pants are so
Sana, and she is the chiropractor, and then she's been trying to fix my neck. She's getting out of whack, and you're always like, "What is up with you?" Okay, so tell us what happened just now.
So, just now in my office, like the lights have flickered like 5 times while, like they've flickered several times throughout the entire experience, but like while we've been talking about her, like 5 different times they flickered, and I've gotten like whole body goosebumps multiple different times. I'm like, this is the girl. She's trying to talk to me, and even like when you pull into the parking lot, whomever said that, I was like they're like, not that they can't be talking about you also, but I'm like, my sign is on all the time. Like my sign, my office sign is on inside all the time with the light on. I was like,
wow.
like even at night, my light, like my open sign is on, and I don't know, it was just crazy. Like
a literal open sign? That's funny. Okay.
Whoa. So you're like kind of like breathing heavy. You're like,
I
well,
was like, this is her. This is the girl. Like I was talking to you about.
Can I just interject? Do you have a question that maybe we could focus on, or an idea, or just to talk about it? Maybe we could come up with a specific question, like what.
I hope this isn't totally breaking protocol that we pulled another person into the circle.
No, there's no rules here.
No, there's no rules.
It's interesting. So like I feel like throughout the time that I've had experiences with her, it's like I felt like she's kind of struggling with something, but she feels a lot to me like I don't know, like she's trying to make sure that everybody's safe, like that, like even like the assault or the sexual abuse past that you guys were talking about. And I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Like she's trying to make sure that like nothing happens to anyone else, like maybe like something she had happen in the past.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
Symptomatic trauma.
Yeah, like she like
there's like a trauma.
Yeah, like she had trauma at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just like, I don't know, it's the girl.
No,
I know it underneath, like, what? That's so interesting because I was so overwhelmed by something I experienced, otherwise, but now that you guys are talking about it and we're focusing on that, it's really interesting to see this other side. And yeah, I mean, definitely like this mid 20th century. Is that what you're like 19? Like
I don't know. I've never seen her.
More, much more recent. I feel.
That's what I feel is in your office. She's very modern in her clothing, but it's still not at a time where it's acceptable to be gay.
Yes, and I feel like she maybe even like had like the tone of responsibility that she went around with all the time, like so that the attention wasn't on her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense or if that resonates with anyone else, but I was just like, oh, like all the different pieces. I was like, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Rachel feels like it's her obligation to be the gatekeeper for the others. Are you talking about the other ghosts in the office, Rachel? Also, we have Whitney asking, or excuse me, Kimberly asking, is she maybe buried on the property since there are so many unmarked graves around that area?
No.
I mean, most of the unmarked graves would have been earlier.
Yeah.
100 years. But I feel like, yeah, because I know, because, okay, this is interesting, because, yeah, the person who told me she was in the parking lot, I'd never, like, seen her. I'm just going by what he said, being mid-19th century. But I know I've seen what's in your office, and she's definitely, maybe like 40s, 50s, 60s, 19s.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Maybe. She's very smartly dressed.
And I don't even have the tone of her dress as much as I do the I don't know, like I feel like I sense her energy like or a little bit more. But yeah, it's interesting because like there are times when I feel like more recently I've felt her come and go, but she's almost like in the parking lot area. But for quite a while I used to feel her like in the like bouncing around the different offices a little bit, like
Checking in. Maybe when we all first moved in.
Yeah.
Making sure we were okay.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell them what she did that one night I know she was just messing with your lights, but.
Yeah. So at some point, certainly within my first year of being here, I would say maybe even first 6 months or so, there was a Saturday evening that I was here late and I finished a task and I told my husband I'm going to head home soon. And I finished that and said I'd taken about the amount of time that I said before I'd head home. I was getting ready to start something else. And my laptop flipped over and shut, like from across the room, like flipped over and shut.
No.
You need to go home.
It's like, no, you're done now. Don't be a workaholic. Go home.
And even more recently, like I felt like her like worker, I was like, there are times when I don't have to be this much of a workaholic. But I almost feel like there's like a little bit of her like lingering energy in the space where I'm like, oh, this is curious. I'm choosing to work as much as I am. I don't actually.
Do you smell her? Do you smell almost like it's more a masculine perfume or a smell almost like a
Leather.
I want to say body wash or something like that, because she's like, well, now that you know that I was gay, I'm just switching it over. So she's like sharply dressed, nice looking lady.
Yeah, I don't know that I've smelled her. Like I can see where like there are hints at that, or that she like maybe could have been trying to communicate that. But I've had several clients at different times say that they smell like almost like a cologne at certain points.
Yeah, that's her. That's her.
Rachel thinks she was trying to keep you safe, so I'm telling you to go home early.
It totally felt like that. Like it was scary at first, but then after it calmed down, it was. I was like, oh, she has my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat. Well, I do want to. Oh no, it's okay. I mean, you're welcome to. But I know you've got stuff to do. You're welcome to stick if you'd like.
Are you doing another pull on her?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, and you're welcome to as well if you'd like.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, I just wanted to ask because, there was like, how should I communicate with her? Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm like, you guys, I have coffee in mine.
Yeah.
She's visiting for Pride. That's fine.
Yeah. No, I totally get a paranormal hangover after this. I'm just gonna be so worn out. All right, so that feels right. It's odd. Did I ask the question correctly? How should I talk to you?
What are you getting?
Oh.
Yeah.
The middle one really fascinating too with my like logo and everything.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So I got the Queen of Swords reversed.
Okay.
The Sun.
That's a very positive card.
And the
So is the
devil.
Queen of Swords.
And the devil.
Oh, you're
So
just in your own way.
Yeah, the devil is more about self-limiting beliefs than anything else. It's actually not a really bad card. It's like your own vices. So it could, I mean, it depends on the situation, but in this one, I would say self-limiting beliefs. And so the Queen of Swords, you said it's reversed.
Mm-hmm.
And with the sun in the middle, she's like, we can already talk. You just think we can't.
Oh.
But talking with spirits isn't like, I mean, Tara hears words, but like for me, it is very much a one-sided conversation, and then you just get feelings and impressions. I use cards to help me talk, so to like fill in the gaps, but it's just it's communicating without words. It's
whatever your strongest clair is. It could be clairvoyance, it could be clairaudience, it could be clairsentience, whatever you find yourself navigating your daily life with the most, like I feel this, or I sense this, or I know this. Those words kind of cue you into your own strength. So when you use those words like I feel this, you're clairsentient. Okay, so maybe ask her, hey, how do you feel today? And let that feeling come through and direct that conversation that way.
Okay.
Another thing you can do is if you are feeling a certain kind of way and you're not sure why, just say, is this me or is this you? Because
something that may not have, you feel like maybe it was driven by something else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to. You can choose any deck you want. This is an oracle deck, and the other 3 are tarot.
And just for reference, a lot of times people get really scared because of all the energy that's happening. Well, you have to remember that spirit is an energetic being. And so they are resonating at a really higher level than we are. So we already have this baseline energy level. And so when spirit comes into our like auric field, our energy field, they disturb it because we're not where they are. And so it feels very like, oh, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
What are you doing here?
Because we don't identify that energy, but the more you start working with it and the more you start like understanding the different energies, because you can feel the difference between, the girl with the babies and the girl in the parking lot and maybe the man. You can distinguish who is who. And so the more you can recognize that, the more you can be like, oh, hey, how's it going today? What's new? And you can communicate with them in a different level like that. So just kind of be aware on how they come into your actual energy field. And that might help you kind of navigate through them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
All right. Good choice.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know between the two of these.
I will warn you, this one's really hard to shuffle.
It is. Yeah, there's stuff.
Oh,
The oracle.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Good pick. I don't know this deck, so you help.
Oh, it's Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle.
It is it was the very first deck I ever bought.
Mine too.
So my question is, what is she trying to communicate, or what does she need? The first one is truth be told, reversed. The second is no place like home reversed. And then the third is the fates. Right. So
The fates.
mm-hmm.
What do you feel? There's no wrong answer.
It's almost like she can't really be, like, she knows, like, her environment, like, she couldn't actually be seen for who she was, like, they weren't capable of seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
And that she doesn't maybe know where home really is. Doesn't, like, really completely feel at home anywhere. Or where to transition to. And I don't really feel like she's not at peace. Like, it feels like she might be some level of peace, even though she doesn't feel super grounded or at home.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone else has any other thoughts, of course, I'm not at all an expert.
She does seem happy in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not completely content, but not like our other person.
Not constant anxiety.
So why is she here? Is that like, I mean, if, okay, she had a she was misunderstood, is what it feels like, misunderstood, a little bit like a loner or rambler, or moving, and life is what it is, be what it may, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is she here? And it's the trauma? Or why? Because it doesn't feel like she's here like
she's stuck. It's
like
more
she's stuck or questioning or negativity.
It almost feels like she's trying to some degree, protect or like make sure that others are set up more for success, like that they won't have to the same trauma.
Yeah.
She's asking you to pull another card. From the middle. Sorry. She's yelling at me. Don't yell at me. Sorry.
Bossy spirits.
She is. She's telling me that this is an exercise in confidence, which is making me laugh. So she's asking you to pull a card from the middle and then turn that deck that you have in front of you that your arm is leaning, turn it over, because there's two parts to that message.
Yeah, fascinating. I was like, can I pull two cards?
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the first one was round and round, and the next one was breathe.
Is breathe. Mm-hmm.
Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about the round and round.
What do you feel about it? In terms of the other three cards, she's asking you to tell us how you feel about them. She is a jokester, yes.
She is, I feel like.
She really likes you.
I like, in a strange way, I'm like, yeah, like she does. Like, yes. I feel confused about it. Like almost like the energy is confusing. But it's like sometimes that's good. Like sometimes it's okay, it's good if it doesn't make sense actually to everyone else. Like it's okay to not be the most straightforward to everyone.
Yes.
Like almost like the ambiguity is free.
Mm-hmm.
And then the breath is that it creates relaxation and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like she's playful a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Her message to you in those cards is that, for you specifically, she's getting tough with you. She wants you to know too that round and round, it's like you're very much in your mind a lot. And so sometimes stepping outside of that constant thought circle and that thought process will really help you to navigate things a little better, because she's just like, how long is it going to take her to get this? So she's just like, when you stop yourself from that constant cycle and you give yourself like a legit break and a breath, and you get up and you move away, you come back and you're like, oh, why did I make this so hard? Oh, it didn't need to be that hard. She's like, you do things so difficultly sometimes that you don't need to do that. So she's like, just take a break, take a breath. It's okay. It's still going to be there when you get done. It's not going anywhere. So that's what she's like. It's for you.
Thank you. That's really cool. I want to pull one more. If that's okay.
Yeah. You're the one that has the timetable. So.
I was like, this, I feel like it's for us. I don't know why, but I was like, this is for both of us, for her. I don't know.
Oh, soulmates?
Mm-hmm.
Like you and me, or we are soulmates to her?
Oh, like
different people.
No, different people. Soulmates can be more than just relationships.
Yeah.
Romantic.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Those cards that you
connection, like she's got your back kind of a way.
Yeah. No, I know. And that is
it's really sweet.
But can I say, from someone who's never done tarot cards, it is amazing the difference I feel between the last questions we asked and the cards we got and these cards. It's just really astonishing, the different cards and how much they've
lightened up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Different
It's a visual representation of how spirit is communicating with you. So you may not always hear it or feel it, you know what I mean? But that's their way of talking to you. So you understand it visually. So don't be surprised if you, like you guys were saying, you and Becky were saying that you had dreams. You're visual people. That's your superpower. So that's how things come to you. So don't be surprised if you get like, little playbacks or little videos or little things in your mind and you're just like, what was that? That was odd. But that's them. That's them coming through in a way that resonates with you.
So it sounds like you got your answer, Becky.
This is so cool. All right. Well, I will write letters to you and we will chat.
You can write a letter and then she'll answer when you draw a card.
Yeah. That's exactly what you can do.
Questions answered, or do you want to know more?
I feel like she'll tell me more later. Like I very much want you guys to get to continue to have all of your experiences. I'm like, I feel like she'll talk more later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. We are always welcome to borrow this deck.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for letting me join you.
Oh, sure. This is fun. She wanted you to.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, I found it odd because you were talking about pen pals and writing, and then she sticks a note under the door.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, ooh.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Awesome. Enjoy, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Dolma, everybody. Best chiropractor in Roswell. And Georgia. Well, that was really cool.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What just happened?
Cool. That is,
Wow, why is everything that happens here so intense? It's my question. Like everything we do here, and every time we have experience, it's just like so intense, you know. I mean, I have had, like I said, of experiences other places, and it's like, oh yeah, and I've had intense experiences other places, but it's just consistently here, consistently. There is
Very-
such a
Very energetic place.
energetic, yes.
Well, there's there's a lot that happened here. We can also talk about that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she still here? Do we need to say goodbye? I don't want to like be rude.
Do you have any other questions? I think she was waiting for her.
No, but I will not right now. But I will continue to talk to her and write to her, and I look forward to more conversations.
She said practice with the cards too. You like those, you want to use them, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, that's good.
She'll talk to you
I'll do that.
however you're comfortable. She's very like matter of fact.
Now, do I have I guess, okay, maybe you could tell me, Tara, can she talk to me while I'm at home, or do I need to only communicate with her while I'm here in the office? Like, is she
You can
willing
talk to her wherever you want. Remember I said that anytime you think about them or you talk about them, they're there. So they come when you call them. So if there's, I like to call them office hours, but you know, if you only want to talk to her when you're at work because you're kind of in the zone and you're sitting in that energy already, then that's totally fine. That's your boundary. That's your personal boundary. That's where you want it to stay. That's where it's going to stay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Sorry, there's banging. My kids are banging things in the background. But
Okay.
but yeah, she said wherever and however you want to talk to her is fine. There's no right or wrong way. It's your way.
Okay. Excellent.
Spirit, they work really well with boundaries. So if you're like, I don't want to see you, but you can come into my dreams and we can have a conversation, that's how they're going to do it. And they might press you a little bit because they're like, let's see how right that is. Let's see what you think about that. And Carly knows because there's always things looming around trying to get her attention. But if you establish boundaries on how you would like to communicate with them, your spirit guides will work with you to kind of they're like the bouncers. So they kind of handle any outside energy that comes through and they're like, yeah, that's not what she said. Those aren't the rules here. Let me see your ID. So they kind of keep order. So just whatever feels good. And it might be, one thing now, but it'll advance as you get more comfortable in the space. It's about your comfortability.
Okay. That all sounds great.
Yeah. Spirit guide bouncers. Yeah.
Well, it is getting late. So are there additional questions that other people are asking that, we should, from the Facebook chat before we start closing things out? Diana, do you see anything in particular?
I think you're muted.
Last thing we have is basically a comment. I hope everybody gets updated as to your ongoing communication.
I will. I'll do that. I should start a little mini blog.
Yeah.
You should. That would be fun.
With the lady in the parking lot.
There is a request to talk to the children eventually. So
Maybe that can be a separate night.
I don't think we can do that tonight. I think we're going to have to really steel ourselves for that one.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because it's already 10:30,
10:30. Yes.
and I feel like that's like a deal. That's like going to be a big deal. They were
Yeah.
arguing with one another. There was like a whole.
Mm-hmm. One took the other one's rocking horse. It was just. Yeah. I don't know. I just made that up.
And I also felt like I was very kind of closed off to I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I know you
Is it-
didn't want to.
The kid thing.
Well, yeah, because you had she had you can tell them if you want. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, it's just children ghosts. I mean, it's just the spirits or the feeling of the children. It's so touching and
Mm-hmm.
unnerving. And adults I can deal with. It's just easier.
Yeah.
You think about little kids and then you want to think about what happened.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just,
As moms, it's
Yeah.
just.
it's too much.
I had
It's hard.
I had a ghost girl that, I would put her at like maybe 7 or 8, maybe, and she was in my house for a few months. Even like one night I was falling asleep because I was having a lot of allergy problems, and I fell asleep in the chair so I could like sit up in the living room. And I felt her hand like grab, like this little cold hand grab my hand.
Oh my gosh.
And my former manager gave me the name of an exorcist, like to help me. And I was like, no, we're gonna let her stay as long as she
Yeah, as
wants.
long as she needs.
Yeah,
Oh
she
my
did
gosh.
eventually leave. I don't know if she
Yeah.
moved on or went to another house.
Yeah.
She may have gone down the street to yours. We'll see.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But I do think that we're probably ready to close the circle, as it were. But yeah, I'll definitely keep everybody updated. I'm kind of looking forward to this new adventure to chat with.
And can I again interrupt? I'm so sorry I interrupt all the time. I'm just like the third time. I'm like, oh, and just by the way, this was so cool. Can we do this again? The colors were amazing. Just like how spot on. We were talking about stuff like, bam, they were just right on it.
I know what to get you for your birthday.
Well, and the difference between the feeling of what we were doing before and this last, wow.
There was like a change of energy. There was like a huge change. I felt that real big change. Yeah, and I don't, haven't had as many experiences.
I knew you would feel stuff here.
Yeah, but I definitely felt a huge change.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
it was cool.
It was really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from sad to happy.
It did. Really quick.
It really did. Like this other person was like, oh.
It's also not as warm in here.
It's not.
No, I'm not like.
Yeah, like that first lady was like, I was hot.
I was like, just like literally like I was like,
yeah. And I think I was like, because I had so many goosebumps and shivers, I think it was like counteracting.
And now I'm like, it's neutral, it's normal,
cool.
and like happy, and this corner feels fine. Which was the corner you were talking about with the trauma.
Was it bad for you earlier?
No,
Okay,
this has always been okay.
Yeah, even Sonam has mentioned that since I painted it, it's been better.
Yeah,
I think getting rid of those hairs helped.
Somebody had said that it was like horse hair, maybe in the. I don't remember where that went.
It wasn't mixed in with the plaster, right? It was on the rafters, just
It was like up in the beams. It was like wrapped around a wooden nail. I mean, it was
This building was apartments or like the first duplexes or something.
I think
kind of like a duplex for workers,
mill workers, in early 20th.
And so it would have been covered up for quite some time, and then as they renovated and kept historically the buildings, they've exposed really old slat wood and beams.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been, I mean, really old. There's like spaces, quarter-inch spaces between these slats.
Yeah, and you could see the holes where like wooden nails would have been.
So it was uncovered. Probably somebody just came in and painted. Who knows? I mean, these buildings are so old.
I was the one who painted. Like, it wasn't painted before. Like, nobody had touched it.
Nobody had ever painted that wood.
Well, it was stained. I take that back. It was like somebody just slapped some varnish on it.
But still, I mean, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I mean, it was way high up. I was on a ladder, and it was like way up, and it was a long hair. It was a woman's hair. Mm-hmm. So that's why. And things felt a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah. Anyway,
don't get your hair hung up if you do anything.
Yeah, because it's gonna
keep you hanging. Sorry.
It's okay. She has a sense of humor. Okay. All right. Well,
let's close it. Let's kind of do like we did when we opened the circle. Okay. And then we can thank them for being here.
Okay.
All right. I just want to thank you for coming forward, for all those that stood by, stood guard, stood watch. and continue to expand our light outward, keeping us encapsulated, safe, protected, happy, and healthy. We thank you for your time, and we send you off with peace and love, and we'll see you again soon. That is it.
Yeah. We're blowing this out so no one follows us home tonight. We want to have a peaceful evening with our own thoughts until whatever
Stay where you are.
Someone, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I want to thank everybody who sat through and watched all of this. I know it's very long. We really appreciate it. I think the collective energy of everybody who was watching definitely helped energize all of this.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so we thank all of you. Hope it wasn't too spooky. I'm certainly got a lot to think about. And thank you so much, Tara and Carly of the Haunted Housewives podcast.
Thank you for having us. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
Love a bit of spook in my life.
No, really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Diana, thank you for moderating. And thank you to everybody who commented and joined us tonight.
100%. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, I have to get up and I'll probably disappear off camera or I'll make a really weird face.
You guys have a nice night.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.